Test, test, test. Display capture. Test, 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 test. Good morning, I think. Trying to restream across the different platforms this morning again. Pretty sure it's up and running. I just have to check the pump fund thing here. Let's go ahead and connect. I was doing a lot of testing with my Phantom wallet last night, so I'm not logged in to the correct wallet. So I was doing account linking. That was something I really wanted to get done so that we could use Solana and Sui and other things as well. Okay, I think this is good. And if I go to Restream and connect and go. All right, just waiting for the chat to start. Excuse me, for the Pump Fund stream to start. Let's see if it works yet. We'll try it over here. Scroll to end. I agree. Custom theme live dev. I'm working on the custom theme editor today for Soul Wars. Should be coming in any second now. Then try it again. There we go. And we're live. Welcome, everybody. Working on the custom theme editor today for Soul Wars. Last night, I did the account linking functionality. Let me just show you what that looks like. Make sure my volume's good in lots of different ways. And, all right, so on the website, when I have logins enabled, and they're not right now, you have the ability to add multiple accounts to your Soul Wars account. So you log in with a primary wallet, and you'll change your nickname up here, but I still have to square that away. But then you're able to link multiple accounts. This is very cool because if you are a token holder of a certain token and you have it in a different wallet, or have NFTs in a different wallet, or have stuff on the Sui chain in a different wallet, we now can support prize pools on both of those chains. But because we can support stuff on the Sui chain, we can use a lot of really, really cool functionality. There's something called ICA, which allows us to wrap other chains' wallets in what's called a dynamic wallet, a D wallet, and do things like revenue splitting, creating wallets for other chains that aren't here but could be like Hyperliquid, Abstract, all that kind of stuff, without you needing to use, the stuff that's all across the top of the screen all the time. And that's really, really handy. But if we are battling in, say, it's like an NFT collection that's battling, and we know who the owner is of a particular NFT that's on the screen, they're battling as a troop, it will look back and see, if you're an owner of that. That way, if you won something at the end of the match, a prize can be sent and steered directly towards you. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, that took a long time, a long time to get set up. Also, yesterday we set into motion the beginnings of game modes. Okay, so right now the mode that you've been seeing a lot of is free for all, and now we're going to have the ability to add different game modes and basically set a channel lineup. Right now, the only one that really works well at all is still free for all. That's just everybody versus everybody. But also we can connect to the chat. For example, I can connect to the chat here, any Pump Fund chat, and this will be expanded for YouTube, etc. And connect, and that way when you type in the chat and you say like, say like join, for example. Some people have seen this already. You see how you notice it says join here? And you'll see that in the chat soon. Yeah, you can see that on the Pump Fun channel already. So we can connect people. The way that the whole thing works is that you'll go to the website, log in, it'll see, okay, you have the ability to run the game, first of all, because you have either, you're holding Soul Wars token or purchase the ability to do that. And you can run the game. So this is the game. In the game, you can select different game modes. It will just run and run and run and run. This is where we'll also have the ability to set up different prize pools, set up custom matches. Somebody today in the Telegram had the awesome idea to, it was Swift, so Seraph. Swift23 had the idea of, hey, would it be kind of cool to set up a custom prize pool, like with the top 10 get 0.2 sol or whatever, and the top 3. So set it up kind of like to reward people, which is kind of like what we did on the very first day of this token. Was we had it running, but we did it manually. We said like top holders get this much, and a prize pool whoever wins. But be able to do that automatically. So instead of spinning the wheel and doing a random selection, it would kind of like do it for you. And that was one of the very first use cases of Soul Wars, is to, for anybody who wants to do a random selection, to give something away. It's just a very grandiose way to do that. And we're creating a lot of value around that with like prize pools and referrals and be able to do sponsorships and stuff like that. So yeah, we're working on this stuff. All these game modes are not done yet. I basically created a large plan to do it and had Grok like figure a bunch of stuff out, but most of them are broken. But team versus team, obviously, that's one I want up next, is team versus team, so that we can put two sides against each other and they clash in the middle. And I think the way that we'll do that, by the way, we'll do it live on stream. But I think the objective will be to go to the middle and to get to the middle. But right now, all the AI will just keep running until it gets somewhere else. So we don't want to see things all stacked up together. So we're going to have to add probably some pathfinding, which gets pretty crazy if there's 500 or 1,000 people on the screen. So might be doing something a little bit simpler. Like maybe they pick a random spot on the opposite side of the map and run back and forth until they run into something. That way, like running across the battlefield, they're going to run into each other, and then while I guess it'll still be while the boundary is closing in. Then player versus AI, that'll be like anybody who joins versus some goblins or whatever. Team versus team isn't going to just be 2 teams, by the way. It'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, probably up to 5. Because Battle of 5 Armies, if you remember from The Hobbit, that was a really cool thing. I just noticed that I'm acting very hyper, and I think that's because I was up late, but I got a lot of sleep. Then I realized I had like a wicked headache, so I took an Excedrin for migraine, which has caffeine in it, and I'm having a coffee, so I'm acting a little bit hyper. But I'm also super psyched. Yesterday was a really rough day in the markets. We're still alive. We have a really cool thing we're working on, and I love building in a down market like a lot, because that's when things get exciting, and it's like a fertile field that you'll be able to build on. Am I sharing my screen yet? I just want to make sure I am. Yes, I am. What's up, Silver? We had actually a lot of people join the stream yesterday. And play. So they played in match after match after match, which was really cool. I saw that there was a lot of commands in the chat. Which reminds me, the heal command puts the healing icon above your head, and it should let you run for healing. I think what I'm going to do is, because that's not nearly as rewarding enough, I'm going to change that to actually get healing, so that you heal. But you should only be able to do it a certain number of times. It would just be way cooler, for you to be able to do that. So I'm going to add that to today's roadmap. The big thing that I kind of want to work on today, I'm going through. I'm trying to find my my roadmap. Where is it? Here it is. I add it here. Custom jackpot functionality. Okay. Today, so this is going to be tomorrow. I have so many things to work on now. there's there are so many ideas that have come into place. Okay, these I'll actually do that tomorrow. Um, Today I definitely want to do this. I got to mix it up a little bit. Make heal command more powerful, because I'll be like walking around the house and like have an idea and then need to come put it down. So sometimes I'll like put it on my phone and text myself. Sometimes I'll tell one of my kids, "Can you please text me the exact words, whatever?" I also created an NFT pipeline yesterday, which worked really well. I ingested 5 different NFT collections and their artwork and created versions of them that are small, large, and then transparent, round, so that we can use those inside the game. Um, Create various health pickups. That's all done and shipped. So I'm going to move that out of testing into shipped. So make heal command more powerful, more immediately powerful. Yeah. Because right now, what it's supposed to do, well, what it is doing is for like, I think it's like for 10 seconds, it makes your guy more prone to looking for food. It's like, if I say heal, it's because I'm like almost dead. I want to be able to like run for the food or heal immediately if possible. And then maybe you can do that once a minute or something like that. Um, that would be way cooler. And then timing is everything, right? Because if you're coming up on a food and you type heal, it's timing is everything for getting that right and when seeing what other people are up to. But I also had I'm trying to. You have to write down ideas, or you'll forget them. And you think, oh, I'm gonna remember that. That's a good idea. That's just not the way it works. Um, I learned that a long time ago. If I don't write it down or type it in, it's like those ideas will fall like like sand through your hands. Um, so right now, when you type join or play, extend auto join credits with custom purchase. Right now, when you type join or play in the chat, it like gives you join credits, which means like, okay, you're good for joining the next several matches um, automatically, and you don't have to keep typing join, 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 because that's aggravating. And then every time you play, it like decrements your credits. It takes one away. Decrements is not a word we use in everyday English, for a reason. It's a lousy word. Uh, but I want to add a functionality where you can go on the website um, and basically purchase auto join credits. So even though you aren't on the screen, maybe you want to make sure that you're in a battle, um, or 10 battles or whatever, or a certain number of battles per day, because everybody can't be in every battle, right? But we can let people prioritize the ability to do that, because we might have, right now we have, I think, about 400 holders. We might have 20 or 30,000 holders in a week with very small amounts each, who all want to be in battles. So you should be able to increase your chances of being in a battle and fight more often without having to be at the screen. So that's something we want to enable as a convenience. It bugged last night when it finally worked, but it bugged and was auto joining people to every match if you joined once. And I know what's going to happen is that we'll have bots that'll spam over and over again, play, because somebody's always going to do that stupid stuff. But I'm going to have anti-bot protection pretty soon, actually, especially when I start to give away my own tokens, because I'm setting up prize pools this coming week. Today's Saturday, so there's a lot that'll happen this week in preparation for the Hood Wars release. And that's what I'm going to be working on pretty much today, is the custom theme for Hood Wars. The editor, really. I could handcraft the data because for every theme, Soul War is going to have lots and lots and lots of different themes. Okay, and if I had to like put all the data in by hand or into files or whatever, that's going to get pretty crazy. Let me just close a lot of this stuff down. I use a database for a lot of stuff. Yeah, as my wallets that I've been accumulating. And anybody who's already joined in a match and owns something like an NFT or um, some Soul Wars token that's been in a battle, your wallet has been auto added to this table, but it hasn't yet created. It actually created users for everybody too. So we should have, yeah, we have 421 different users created, basically from the holders group. Essentially, is what that was. I know we're collecting points for everybody that's been in battles as well. And I'm sure this is a lot. I'm actually kind of curious. We're going to count how many are here. Okay, so 6,691. What does that mean, though? Let's take a look at the battle thing. Battle duration seconds. What I need to have is a battle ID. I should actually set this up. So I'm going to quickly alter this table. Actually, I'll do it later. It'll be a to-do item. Otherwise, I'll get distracted, guys. Use battle IDs. Because actually, I'm going to want to know things in user battles table. Because it's no longer just me running this. Next week, excuse me, when Hood Wars launches and when other people launch, it's going to be lots of different people running different battles. So we're going to want to know who's the person running. So that's something that a battle needs to understand. What was the match type? You know, was it castle, whatever? Actually, I'll just put some notes in now. Who, match type, any customizations like prize pools, etc. We'll set all this stuff in a database so that we know what happened. What happened? What is the history of this? It's not going to be me. It'll be other people. The creator of Hood Wars is going to be running his own battles, and he's going to want his own prize pools and points and all that stuff. And he's not going to have to set up his own database. Like that's me. I'm going to set up one database that everybody uses, so we have lots and lots and lots of data about how Soul Wars is being used. This could be hundreds of thousands of people at some point in time in the next 6 months. It could happen overnight. So I need to be ready for that to happen. That's the nature of trends, is that they grow quickly or not. But I have a feeling. Okay, so in order to create a theme, like I said, I didn't want to have to enter everything in manually. So I started the theme engine a while ago, but hey, what's going on? Silver, Moki, Khalid. Good to see you, man. I've been loving your posts. So, Khalid, maybe it's Khalid. I said that wrong. Has been doing a really cool job of putting multinational or multilingual posts up about Soul Wars, and they've been really great. He's put up this one. It's like this is really cool. People have been making fantastic videos using AI, and these are awesome. Really, really cool stuff, man. Love to see it. I want to be able to have supporter matches, you know, and be able to give away some token, because not everybody has been able to get token. Some people haven't been able to. So back to custom themes, it's going to be important for us to support lots of different custom themes, not only ones that I make, but ones that other people make as well. So I'm going to go to the theme creator, and I started this last week, but it's been, I haven't looked at it since I made a lot of other changes since then. So that's what we're going through today, is to fix those things. Whatever's broken, I got to fix, and just get one custom theme working again. The Soul Wars theme is already working. However, that's being defined in the database. I've got all these tables for a theme. You've got the battlefields, the food that shows up, the sounds that things make, intermission screens. Actually, what is a theme item? I don't think. Okay, the different healing potions that can be picked up and used. the theme music. So all the music that you hear, it's all listed here as well. And I have to make sure that all this stuff gets put up on S3. And then the player. So this is the set of artwork that defines who, like all the little player icons that are randomly chosen. That's this table here. Theme shields, those don't need to change. The sounds, which is like the things getting hit and all that stuff, is all in a database here. Attack, grunts, pain, screaming, big, all this kind of stuff is here. Um, and particles we don't use yet, but we will. A lot of cool special effects are done with particles. And these are spells, so I had a few spells created, and I still need to work on those. The particles were awful looking, so I just disabled spells for now. But when I have these running, this is when you have like people throwing grenades, and like you see a giant explosion with a few different types of particles. You got your smoke, you got your orange fire, the white part, sparks, all that kind of stuff, or fireballs or lightning. Those are all done with particles. So we have these different spell definitions, which are actually kind of cool. You basically have a warm up, a range, how much mana it's going to cost, and how much damage it does. We're going to probably expand that to do things like healing, because everything is going to do damage. Sometimes things will heal, that kind of stuff. So anyway, I have all these things around themes. And right now I have one theme, the Soul Wars theme. So the objective is to get a new custom theme called Hood Wars. Start it up. So I have the artwork. I've got a lot of the music, battlefields, and we want to start to add that in today and just kind of fix things that are broken along the way. No, Hood Wars not live today. Hood Wars live. He's gonna decide like the market's got to recover a little bit, because and I need to finish the theme editor. So I said it's probably going to take me a few more days, because I think that what's going to happen is that when people see that, they're going to mob it. So I need to make sure that that he can run it remotely. Right now, kind of like only I can run it very well. It runs off my local computer. It should load off the site. So there's a few more things I have to do and prepare for that to launch. But he'll probably launch the token right before the theme, to kind of like spread out. However you want to do a launch, because when you first launch a token, it gets sniped. It goes up, then it comes down. Like that's when you should add utility. Otherwise, real supporters who want to come in, like they just get blasted by snipers. Anyhow, okay, so I'm going to click on theme creator and things are going to start to break. And let's go. Let's figure it out. Okay, it didn't break yet. And it's going to be a lot of white, because I don't have like dark mode enabled, whatever. So I'm going to create a new theme and just see what's broken. Hood Wars. Description. The illest. You can tell why I didn't create the Hood Wars themed, because I'm terrible at kind of coming up with cool stuff. Actually, I'm not going to be that bad at it. The illest. What would you say? The illest theme from the hood. Change this at any time. From the hood, featuring all characters and archetypes. Nope, all the characters you'd expect to see. This is going to serve also as like an advertisement. So to the themes, I need to be able to have like promotional graphics so that they show up in the store, because like he's the theme creator, he's the owner, and done all the artwork for. I did the battlefields, because only I can make battlefields right now to make sure that they're set up correctly. But other people will be able to pay to unlock it. they'll be able to pay Soul Wars token to unlock it, and then Hood Wars token to unlock it. So it'll need graphics. So when we're on the main game screen, let me see if I click on that. Does that work like that? Yes. We're on this main game screen and we do a theme, but we don't own it. It'll show up over here. You'll see like giant graphics for it and stuff like that. It'll be a big store page. And be like, cool. Like he has a full screen, basically an ad for this thing. Click buy, and like that's your store. So we'll have to have promo graphics for it, but I don't have those handy yet. Let's add it before I forget. Promo graphics for custom themes. Okay, so Hood Wars, let's just create it. Failed to create theme. Like I said, things are going to break right away. And I can come out and check the database and see what's happening. I'm going to close this down and start a new AI session up. Unknown column data and field list. So basically this was a SQL query. This is going to be live coding. So this is going to be all the areas that you'd expect. And I'm actually going to get rid of this. I don't want it connecting to anything. Okay. Insert into themes, unknown column data. Where was it trying to put data? Created at data. I don't know what that's all about. So I'm going to give it this error creating themes. I'm probably going to have to just redo it. Okay. Because a lot has happened with the data tables, etc. First thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go to, we'll stick with Claude, but I'm going to build a plan. Let's make this fast. Let's make this fast, and let me find the correct files. This is the client. That's correct. Components, scenes, instructions, intermissions, components, mode. Where's my theme creator? Here it is. Okay. Okay. We are paying attention to the theme creator. To support custom themes. Or I could do it one by one. Into themes, there's no data column. All right, we're just going to try this. Okay, before I do a plan. Okay, we'll do this. We're going to do a plan. Please take a look at the theme creator and the endpoints needed to create and edit a theme, and make sure they are fully functional so we can create and edit a new custom theme. I think that was pedantic. For example, in trying to just create a new custom theme, I got an error here. And I'm also going to give it all this stuff. I'm going to give it all of the theme tables. So copy to clipboard, create. Here are all the pertinent schema. Okay, and instead of just giving it to it, I'm going to actually paste the definitions here into database. I think this is correct, actually. Mostly correct. No, it should be correct. Oops. It'll just have it make a plan. And right now I picked Claude as the agent, but I'm gonna select auto and let it pick. Moki, Hood Wars live today. Yes. No, not yet. There is no data column. I can see the issue. The error shows that the backend is trying to turn to that doesn't exist. The backend. So there is a new normalized theme data schema. There's a lot of different things, and I'm basically wanting to create a plan, find out what's missing, go through the UI, which I tagged up here. Theme Creator JS is the UI for this thing. There's a bunch of different endpoints we have already in the server to handle the themes. A lot of different endpoints here to add this stuff, and I want to make sure it works. There are some things we added early on into the theme creator that we don't need yet. Let me see if this is like there's a like setting the class of the players doesn't really work yet. Everybody's they're just battling. Very soon we'll have custom weapons and all that, all the artwork, but not the sounds are done for that. So basically, you'll have items available in the theme for either for purchase or for pickup, or just randomly assigned to players that he's created. So some of them might be, a knife or a gun or a broken bottle. Whatever is appropriate for the theme. We would create items with artwork and sound effects and a description of what they do, and then people would use them. So instead of just the players like making noises and bouncing around, you'd see an icon pop up that's a revolver, and like you hear the gunshot, like that kind of stuff. And that'll be going over all over the battlefield to make it a little cooler. But yeah, we start with creating a theme, and then we basically add things to it. And every time we add something to a theme, we got to make sure that the files are all being updated and uploaded onto to Amazon. So, all right, here is is it still working? Normalized architecture. The issue is that I need to know which approach you want to use to. No, I want to use normalized data. Don't. Yes. B. 1B. We have tables for all the things. The normalized approach did not work for us when we tried it. It was awful. It was like a giant data file. It did not work. So we have tables for everything, which is much better. 2. A, just the basic assets. And I used to say use the defaults if you don't have anything, but now I don't want to use the defaults. We can like add that later. I want you to have music, have to have players, etc. Full game data. So Battlefield, yes. Players, yes. Music, yes. Screens, yes. That was like the loading screen. Okay. Intermission, classes, and cover image. Yep, that's all correct. 2A, exactly as you described. And later on, we'll add your spells, your items, sounds, shields, food. So we'll do that next. The custom theme, you'll use the default items and food if there are none defined. Default. And the default theme is Source is default. the default team is the one with is default equal to 1 in the themes table. So again, we're creating a plan. I just want it to fix everything. That's all. It's a simple request, really. So I said I wanted to do a thing. It asked some clarifying questions. They were good questions. Basically treating it like a team of people. You got your product manager and you're giving it its requirements. It's creating those requirements and putting them, it'll put them into a plan with a checklist, where you'll see in a minute. And we'll actually close this down to let it work. It'll come up with a plan, we'll approve the plan, and then say, okay, build. I love this feature. It's an amazing feature. Yes. Okay, so here's the thing: is we moved all of the I had everything into one. First, I had everything into individual files. I had like music file, this, that, whatever, which is all here. All these little JSON files, spells, battlefields, etc., mission. Then I moved them all into the database. So that was like step one. Then I said, let's make a theme creator so I don't have to hand code stuff. And so it created this thing, but it still used these JSON files. Now we basically have to hook up the theme editor to the database, which it's a big task. And if I was doing it alone without AI, it'd take me a while. I'd be copying and pasting a lot of stuff, but I'd be murdering my fingers just typing the same things over and over again. I'm still waiting for my phone call from the heating guy, by the way, to come and fix the furnace. Because it got chilly this weekend. Okay, add cover image. And I do already have the ability to upload things and store them onto S3. I just want to clarify that it's going to do that. Back endpoint changes, remove data column completely, insert into themes table. Yes. Insert default warrior class, and yes. Return a symbol. Warrior class just means they're going to be beating on each other. We will have other classes that do different things, like the mage class will have the ability to use spells, right? And you'll also have a support class, which will be more like a healer class. And then probably, I don't know what you call it, archer or a missile warrior, which will use mostly missile attacks. Or maybe we just add that to the same warrior class. But basically, you'll be able to define sort of squads, or heavy, which is meant to just take damage. Return assemble theme object matching current structure. Good. We already have all these endpoints. My nose is so itchy. I apologize. Already works correctly. Yes, it has already worked correctly. I can run. I can run this and get a theme. Actually, I'm gonna close all these NFT things down. They all work great. They're beautiful. They made me weep with beauty. Chain networks, fetch theme. This worked great yesterday as well. So here's when, oops, I don't have the server running. Basically, you can get a theme, and I can get all the different parts of the theme, so I can look at the data and debug it. So it's very important to be able to kind of like check things out as you go. This AI plan though is just gonna run and like do its thing. Classes will be sick when you, especially when you assemble squads. So one of the things you'll be able to do is go on the website and set up a squad of guys. You've got a bunch of guys in your lineup, and you want to be able to when the squad matches come up, it'll just be like playing a combination of different games. So if you've ever played like Warhammer Fantasy Battles or Warhammer Miniatures, where you like deploy an army or deploy a squad, there's a consistent of different types. And when you deploy your squad during like a team battle, or during a like attacking a castle battle, you'll basically be able to hit a button or use a chat command to deploy the next guy. And on the website, you basically set your default lineup. It's like, first we're going to deploy 2 warriors, then an archer, then a heavy, yada yada yada. And that's sort of like an RTS where you're creating and deploying guys, then selecting them and making them go somewhere. Well, in this case, what will be happening is that there'll be an objective in the middle of the screen that your squad guys will go attack. I have the hiccups. It hurts so bad. I've been gripping myself. That's for my daughter. Poor thing. Um, Poor thing. I just read that out loud live on stream. Um, so yeah, you'll be able to deploy your squad one guy at a time, and you might have two people who decided to enter the squads into the battle that they see, because it'll always be like a menu. You're sitting back watching the battles, watching the matches come through, and then it's like, okay, now there's going to be 3 like clash battles. There's a central objective. You're like, all right, I want to get in on this one because it's got a great prize or whatever, or worth a lot of points, or I just need to. And you're live, you're watching it, so you say like join. It's like, okay, you're joining, and then you deploy your guys as you want, and they'll come out like it's going to assign you to a corner, and then you will hit deploy, and it will deploy your dudes as you want. You can type in like heavy or soldier or whatever, and it's like your guys will deploy, or just like you could have a command that's like all go, and it'll deploy like everybody who's ready. I'm actually going to enter that in because that was a great idea. um, Squads use commands to deploy troop types. I was going to have people use the second screen, which is like you join with a join code and you have an interface with buttons. That's not ready yet, but what is ready is the chat commands, which will be easy to use in the beginning. You'll just have to know what to type, which is harder, right? Well, I can put instruction screens up. No, I'm just playing around. I love you. Hope you feel better. Use commands to deploy troop types: heavy, soldier, support, etc. So in the future, you will have a nice interface on a website where you'll be able to just have it there and be like, click, go, click, go. Maybe it's a bunch of buttons, but yeah, you'll be watching the central screen too. But it's meant to be watched and enjoyed. All right, so back to this. Been yapping. Okay, I was going through its plan. Return same structure the team expects, patch the themes, remove data. Patch is like an update, remove data column reference, update only themes table, yes, yes, yes. Asset management, okay. Okay, I don't see any mention of S3 yet. Okay, I don't see any mention of, man, that itchy nose. Oh, it's because I had all that caffeine and it's increasing my blood flow. So of course my nose is itchy. Crazy though. Too much caffeine. I don't see any mention of file uploading to S3, but that's an important part of, of the theme system, creating the theme folders on S3. And actually, let's go take a look and see what we have. I don't think I have anything up there yet. I'm going to take a look at what I have so we can start to keep track. I have a very old Amazon account. I used to use it a lot when I was doing, used to do a lot of Amazon Alexa stuff and build skills for like Harry Potter, things like that. That was a very fun. Recipes, allrecipes.com. They used to have an Alexa skill. I wonder if they still do. I wrote that. What am I doing? Oh yeah, Amazon. So I have MFA, multi-factor authentication to log into this bad boy. And let's go back and look. I have a lot of accounts here. Here, I don't think I have anything. Themes is here. So the name of the theme, is that correct? No, it's not. Okay, so we do have the themes bucket, but each of the themes needs to have its own like ID. And it has all the table references. So I do have a themes bucket. Creating the themes subfolders and organizing asset files, etc., in appropriate subfolders in the theme folder. And it's going to ask me some clarifying questions. What I'm going to make sure it's asking me, what do you need to know to accomplish this? It's want to know how you want to organize things probably. Yep, it needs to clarify the organization. Do I want to organize the asset into subfolders? I think so. Because I think the paths will be smaller. But then again, if I was telling people, create all the files and you need to organize them like this, that would be fine. That way, that would actually be pretty cool because I could end up writing a function that just goes through your folder structure and creates all the data. So that would make it a lot easier for somebody to create a custom theme. Actually, I like that idea. All right, let's definitely use a folder structure. So 1B, got to make it easy for people, including myself. 1B, 2, if organized into subfolders, so the cover image be at root level. Yes, good question. Good question. 3, 1, 2A. 3, when retrieving assets for display, should the front end always use the S3 pattern? Have the back end provide full URLs? 3, I believe that we want to do A. And the reason why is this. The theme data is pretty big when you come out with all those different file paths and stuff like that. And the URL for an item, this is actually very important. The URL for an item that's here will look something like this. See this? It's a big URL. And it could be much bigger depending on a bunch of different stuff. So the browser gets these. It's a terrible battlefield, but it was just a test. It's a lot of data to send down. And if you have 100 battlefields, 100 players, whatever, it's a lot of data coming down. And to make it faster, it would be much easier for it to know this is where all the things live and just send me these pieces. So you're really cutting down tremendously on the network bandwidth. And when you have hundreds or millions of battles going on, that becomes really important. You save data where you can. So make it easier on everybody. Let's normalize the bucket path to come down with the theme data And we'll know on the client side to reassemble the base path bucket theme path, reassemble the base path with the subfolders and asset names and asset paths. Depending on what it is. I'll give an example. That example. Come on. That's always better. And this is boring as heck to watch, not entertaining. But you know, I'm building in public. I need you to understand a little bit of how I think. It gives you an opportunity to learn a little bit. It helps me code because I become more accountable in some weird sense of the way. This is all part of history. We're building it bit by bit. I know it's not fun to watch necessarily, but that's okay. We'll be streaming the game lots of times anyway. And we'll know in the subfolders and client side some of the, okay. We don't need to send the subfolders names in asset paths either. We can discern them. There's what I meant to say. We can discern them on the client side by the theme hierarchy. For example, all music files would obviously be in the music subfolder. Now I can really feel the blood flowing to my face from this caffeine and Excedrin, and my headache is absolutely gone. It's brilliant. All right, so I've answered its questions and given a lot more clarifying detail. It's created a nice checklist. Let's take a quick look at it. It wants me to update my database schema. Okay. I think that we already have this assemble theme from normalized tables helper function. I think we already have that. Because if I go to this, I think we already have that. I think looking at your to-do list, I think we already have one or two of your to-do items done. In the back end, I can already use to get normalized data, and the game is running on that already, on that data already. And the reason why it doesn't know this, hey, go up. Well, I have to go back. It didn't look at all of the code. It's a new session. I'm using an auto agent, not the same agent that I used to create the theme system with. So it doesn't really know like what's there. So I have to give it some more context. And this started as like 5 files, but it's grown pretty large since then. So it's got a lot it needs to look at. And the context for this thing is pretty big. Context is what it looks like. Refactor the theme system, use that. Looking at your to-do list, I think we already have 1 or 2 done in the back end. So I'm just going to say that and see how it modifies the theme system. And my sons are at the gym. They're sending me pictures. He did a full rack, wow, of on the leg for reps. Beast mode. Yeah, we live actually pretty near the gym, so they just ride their bikes over, which is awesome. All right, this is looking great. Oh, also, please document the theme system in. This is something I've been doing recently, and I feel very clever, very clever about it. Because it will help me write the user documentation and explain it to other devs. So otherwise, it's going to be like, what the heck is all this? From a user perspective and a developer perspective, in terms of system endpoints, process for new engineers coming to the project. In terms of what's needed for assets and how to use the user interface. I'll probably have it update that one because I know it's going to change. This is going to be a huge time saver. So as part of your job, make the documentation. Okay. Oh no. Did it error out? Oh, it's creating a new plan. Okay, good. Very thorough plan. I would love to be able to save this. I love to see this stuff. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back and look at it. Probably not. That's a great idea. That's not how I would have done it, but it's more efficient that way. Theme creator guide and a theme system architecture. Awesome. All right, I'm actually happy with this theme, with its plan. I'm just going to say build, and now it's going to do all this stuff. Update the data, refactor, update only. Assemble theme from normalized. I feel like we already have this. I was going to look and see. I don't think we have to create it again. So it's confusing as why it's doing that. Okay, validate image dimensions, upload to S3, delete from S3, post, getting the theme names. Oh, I see. Okay. It wants to create a separate function. That's fine. Go for it. Just gonna click build. Go. And then wait. Oh yeah, no problem. I love building in public. I'll be honest. In the past, I've always been terrified to get on camera just because humans are humans. You know, I'm no longer the When I was 19, I would have been happy to get on camera. Wow, when I was in the army and like, uh, anyway, I'm no longer there, but it's fun to get on camera because what it does for me is allows me to get feedback from you guys. You get to see, an experienced engineer building stuff. I've been doing game dev for a long, long time, and also have hired and organized a lot of engineers over the years. So I have quite a lot of experience, which is useful in building something massive like this. So I don't need to go ask a data guy or whatever. It's like I can kind of do all these things. I'm bad at artwork, but I have AI to help with that now. So that's a thing. But you get to see me build in public, which can be very interesting. A couple of people. Oh no, Diane Keaton died. This is a classic actress. Um, it adds a level of accountability to myself. I mean, I'm already motivated and stuff like that, but sometimes I'll sit down, even if I have created all my tasks, like my roadmap tasks. I'm just gonna let this do its thing. If I've created all my roadmap tasks like this, I don't always do this. Sometimes I sit down and just do what I think I should do next. Here I have things laid out and ideas I collect from the chat from the audience. I pop in here too, and give attribution for people as well. It's like who the idea came from and stuff. But it helps me because then I can sort of lay out what I'm going to do. And doing it on camera lets you talk through it. And it's like the brain does like a weird thing when you talk through something live. Um, you sort of like double check yourself as you go. But it's also like accountability. I'm doing it on camera. So I'm not sitting down and being like, let me go watch a cat video or scroll on X for a while. I mean, that's what I would do sometimes. I guess I didn't realize I had attention deficit disorder or whatever, but I definitely would get distracted. This forces me to focus, um, and there are some times where I could be very productive, but I had never had this level of productiveness. Actually, I've had incredible levels of productiveness, but not like this. This has been very different. And it's because I've done live coding sessions. I'm positive about it. So even though you're motivated to get something done, when you're doing it in public, it's different. It hits different. And so these to-do lists become like, geez, what do I work on next? And you could see, my today list was actually it was getting larger and larger. It's like I can't possibly do all this stuff in one day. What am I doing? It's like get rid of some things. Custom themes is probably what I can do today. I really should move all these other things into up next and then reorganize this later when I'm not coding. I want to add these things. I actually did some of this already, partially. Create placeholder screens that already became something else. Intro screen for Battlefield Owner. I actually do want to do this one. I need to be able to pick a random battlefield. Actually, this isn't ready yet, so I can't work on it. So I need to pick a random battlefield. Which I already do, but it doesn't pick an owner of one because people don't own them yet. So Battlefield owner tables. Very soon, one of the first things we're going to do is let people spend Soul Wars token to buy a battlefield. Those will turn into NFTs, but what we'll take is the battlefields that we have. There'll be lots of different versions of them, and people will be able to own them. And why you might want to own a battlefield is if somebody spends money while your battlefield is in play, like you're entitled to a portion of that for revenue sharing. If there are tokens left on the battlefield because people are playing in high stakes mode. Oh, and I had a thought for that today. High stakes mode. Define what you want to. Okay, high stakes mode. Actually, I will add. High stakes mode is a mode where you define what you are willing to lose. So you might say, put me up for $1 million, i.e. 1 million Soul Wars token. Okay. And then you like you commit to that, um, but only a certain percentage at a time. So if you die in a battle, which is going to happen a lot, um, how much per battle? You'll be able to wander around as your guy is wandering around the battlefield, and other people have died. The battlefield's going to be covered with different loot, different coins that have dropped, all that kind of stuff. You'll be able to pick up a certain amount. Like maybe you'll be able to pick up to 10x or 20x what you're willing to risk. So there's a risk reward kind of a factor here, where it's like, okay, you've got your bag, which you're saying, I'm going to risk my bag, and this is what I'm willing to risk, and then how much I'm willing to get back. So how much you're willing to lose, there'll be a multiplier of how much as you're wandering around, and that way you could say loot in the chat or press the loot button on the second screen, the interaction screen, and instead of going for healing or going for attacking or going defending, like your guy will go try and get nearby loot or whatever. He'll just be hunting around for it. When he dies, you'll still lose stuff, but you'll also be able to save some. So how much you'll be able to save is never going to be 100%. You'll be able to keep 100% if you win the match, right? Because then it's like, but the battlefield owner will be able to keep a percentage of the loot that falls that doesn't get picked up. So just like if you owned a battlefield, like, hey, this is my piece of land. There was the British and the colonials fought on it, and there's a bunch of dead bodies. We got rid of those, but they left all their loot behind. I guess I get to keep it now. That's the battlefield owner. You'll be able to keep a portion of what's left. Imagining that some of it does get scrapped to the ecosystem. Um, why did I type that? It doesn't make any sense. That's what a battlefield owner will be all about, and they'll get the credit for that. So that's kind of neat. To be able to own the battlefields. First, you'll just be able to sync your Soul Wars token. It's going to be one of the first major syncs, and then those will turn into NFTs that you can trade. But we're going to do the syncs first. So once we define high stakes mode, and we're going to move that way up the chain, so that's going to be awesome. And then battlefield selection. We're already picking battlefields. So that's going to be pretty awesome. I'm psyched for that. Checking out Telegram real quick, get caught up. Adobe Express and Animator. Oh, okay. Yeah, he is a rating beast. And I am starting to get hungry, which is kind of crazy. And I'm going to check my X real quick. Oh, this little one means it thinks it's done. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see what it's done. It refactored a lot of stuff. Hopefully it changed some database stuff. Here's what was accomplished. Database schema. Added the cover image column to themes table. Created the theme screens table for intermission assets. Didn't I already have that? I had theme intermissions. Was that not already in the sequel? I already had this. All right, I gotta check into that. Created assemble theme for normalized function, a helper function. Refactor 13 endpoints to use normalized tables. Okay. Cover image upload delete all asset uploads, asset deletion, classic, yada yada. All modified code passes linting text cleanly. Benefits ready for testing. Create a new theme, upload assets. Okay, before I do, I'm going to say keep all, but I'm going to look and see how this changed because I'm kind of curious about this. Theme players, it added theme screens. What's the difference between theme screens and theme intermissions. For intermission assets. I don't know what this is for. What's the difference or correlation with and theme intermissions tables? This table stores the physical image files uploaded for use in intermissions. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm clear what it means here. So this is theme intermissions. Oh, I see. Okay, so I have the music here. But I never describe what exact picture shows up here. Okay. Screen image, your photo library, your slideshow configuration, which photos to use. Okay. Every slide. Does anything else use theme screens? Because I think that would be used for like the loading screen, other stuff too. I see. I just didn't have that at all. Content. Here in my content, I had it. An epic clash is underway. Top remaining, final remaining. Good question. Check switch screen image, upload post, theme assembly, intermission validation, front end display. Okay. Where is like the loading screen? I think we're going to want to expand this because we're going to want to have screens that come up while the lobby is loading. For whatever purpose, we need to create some time there, create some space between the when the matches are loading to show, you know, an important advertisement, but that could be content too. I think we'll work on that later. Is what we'll do. Work on that later. Okay. Important note: the default theme currently has all files local. At some point in time, I will move them to S3. Will I have to rebuild this? I'll have to rebuild the theme. But will they continue to work with local files? I think there's one way to check that. It'll probably, I'm just going to ask. So this is where you have to choose ask as the agent. That way it doesn't go start making changes like, oh, whoops, make a bunch of changes. I hate it when it does that. Can I promote your project? Go for it. In my messages, in my DMs, go for it. Promote. Have fun. Please check your DMs. No. Go promote. I'm not going to pay you. I'm live on X, Twitch, YouTube Live, all kind of stuff right now with this. not just here on Pump Fun. We're live coding across the universe, which means I probably have chats in other things too. Oh, Top Shot, what's up, buddy? On X, talking about what's going on. Oops. I love Restream. It's really a cool tech. Okay. So this is my question. Great question. Let me check to see how it's loaded. Good catch. There's a potential issue here, but it's solvable. Let me explain. The default theme constructs paths like this. This works with default theme because files are served from client public assets. Correct. Custom themes use that. So you need to update the prelude screen to detect whether the theme uses local or S3. Here's the recommended approach. I love the way it's like explaining this. Player assets for each music, yes. Or you could update the default theme in the database to include the full relative paths, making it consistent with custom themes. Insert theme players, blah, blah, blah. The preload scene could use paths. Player assets, this load image. Use the first approach, detection of the preload scene, because clear separation, etc. All right, I'm going to switch back to agent. Would you like me to repair the preloads? Yes, please prepare the changes. Exclamation mark. Go. Beast mode. This is going to be a good week. It's Saturday, but I'm going to get a lot done this weekend. We're going to be in a good shape come Monday. And then we'll be able to tell some people about what we're doing. I haven't yet. Just a couple of people, but I haven't told people in SWE and in my other groups and in my Facebook game developers group, which has like 90,000 people, like what we're doing. So actually, I should probably turn that on in Restream. Let me do that. I'm going to create a, because they're a game developer group, they should watch us dev. So I'm going to turn this on in where do I want to put it? Facebook. Game feed. So let's go to Facebook and we'll go to the game developers group and we'll go to community chats are going away. Good, because I hated them. And that was testing the live stream. And I'll go to, I forget how to do it. Producer, marketplace, reels. I forget how to do it. Live. Is it a post? I'll do. This is my game developer group. It's got almost 90,000 people in it. Recent activity. I know I need to create a new post here. Can I go live? I did it the other day. It was like a whole thing. Live video. Okay, it switches me to the live producer. Go live by yourself. Go live. I hope it doesn't give me a new stream key. That's what I need to check. So in Restream, game feed, edit, stream key. Okay, it looks like the same stream key as before. So it's good. We'll keep it. Advanced setting, you have up to 4 hours to go live. Connect streaming software to go live. Let's try it. Streaming not allowed. X new. Nope, not that one. Whoops. Game feed. Okay, we are connecting to the Facebook Live game feed. Connect streaming to go live. There it is. It wants to be there. What's your live video about? Live dev on Soul Wars. Creating my group, add to your post, save. So that's the post I'm posting. Facebook is a little bit different the way it works. And add post details. Is there like a final like go? Oh, choose where to post. Post in group. When are you going live? Right now. Stream setup dashboard. Connect video source. Complete post details. This is done. Add a group to promote. I think that's done. What's not done? Streaming software. Complete post details. Connect video source is here. Streaming software, advanced settings, persistent stream key, expand video. There it is. Okay, so that is working. Gonna get rid of that. That's a preview. Good. Complete post details. Why is this not working? Live dev on Soul Wars, edit post details, save, add a group to promote. No, I don't want to promote a group. Audience settings. This broadcast is targeted for a group. You have no events. I feel like that's fine. Go live. Stream setup settings. Right now, it's not yet allowing me to go live. Because it thinks I haven't done this yet. You have no events. Start by creating a new event. Okay. I don't think I needed to create an event for this. You're hosting or adding as a co-host. Do I have to create an event? I don't think I did last time. I'm going to try for another second here, and if I can't, then I'm just going to go live anyway. Dashboard. No poll, cross post to more pages. Settings. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't been able to figure it out, but right now, posting group. Yes. Posting group. Game developers. Here. Good. Good. All that is correct. Stream. Red live video. Viewer. Allow viewers to message you. Live tab. Yes. URL appealer after live video is created. Please add a live description. Okay. Live description. Where's my description? Advanced settings. What's the live description? Is it up top? Connect video source. I'm missing something very obvious. There's a live description. You have no event. Edit post details required. Live working on custom theme editor Soul Wars. Interactive audience game. That was it. 5 minutes later. That was dumb. But now we live. Okay. We're live. Sorry about that, guys. That took longer than I expected. Okay. Create custom themes. You'll use S3 assets. Okay. So it fixed a thing. Now I need to go and modify the database to support the new tables. So I need to add this. Okay, so I'm going to tell it, by the way. So this is the new themes. So I'm just going to add this new one. So this is cover image, varchar 25. And I'll go to the database and do that directly since we already have this here in themes definition. Put this up here temporarily. That way every theme has a cover image. And this is the comment. Again, that's fine. Apply, apply, finish. Okay, so that's done by hand. And this other new table that it wants me to add, it wants me to add player name and class name to the players, to the theme players. So we'll alter that. Oh, I call it name and class, so I'll just change these. Player name, class name. That's fine. I'll repurpose that. Yep. It didn't realize I had names already because I didn't update my original SQL files, and that's the way that works. So this was a change, that was a change, this is a whole new table, so I'll just add this one by hand. And then it's probably going to want me to add an index of some kind. I'll catch up, we'll try and catch up with comments in a second. So create table, go. Let's just make sure that was created. Theme screens is there now, beautiful. And the last change that I see is this. Alter table, theme screens, comment. Add table comments. I don't know if I did all this stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and put it. That's kind of cute. That's cool. I don't see where it put the comments, but that's okay. Should have been there, I think. Okay, so now we have all the stuff. Do not save. And what we'll be doing, so we're building an interactive battle streamer that will run on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, etc. And it does have a token behind it right now. It's called Soul Wars. Launched on Pump Fund. It supports Pump Fund chat for live interaction. And it's built for streamers and also Web3 streamers to have content on the screen 24 hours a day or whenever they want to run a match. And today I was working on making a custom theme for it to kind of give you an idea of what it does already. I'll go and just show you here. Because I probably haven't done that in a bit. You pick a mode. In this case, it's probably free for all. And then you launch the deal. And it brings us a custom theme. Right now, there's just one Soul Wars theme, but we already have a Hood Wars theme, which is a ghetto-based, hilarious, over-the-top theme. And I have to create the editor that makes that possible. So in this case, I will actually also connect to the chat so I can do live stuff. So bam, I connected from the Pump Fund chat. So this will be enabled also for YouTube or whatever. So people can just type play and then join on what they're seeing on the screen. and there are no other players that were coming through, so the match is ending, and that's perfectly okay. But normally there would be like 500 players or up to 1,000 or 5,000 players on the screen, and they just one big free for all battle. So yeah, this is an interactive audio auto battler, is what I call it. And today we're doing this massive change to get it all to run. Okay, so I think that it's good. I was working with AI with the AI planning system to make a whole plan for doing all this stuff. We got through it, and then I definitely had to make changes to the database tables. And I think we're ready to see if it's working. So first thing I want to do is just run the thing. And by the way, I do live dev on this. I try and do it every day as we're approaching release. I just want to see if the original theme is working. So that's what's important here. So I will put the console on also. I expect to see some errors because it did a lot of changes. I don't see any red yet. Close that down. I expect there to be something. Okay, it couldn't find some of the assets, which is expected because those are actually old assets. And this is just going to use for the default, like who's going to fight in the battle. It's using the token holder set for Soul Wars token. So it's just going to grab a random number of those. Okay, but it's downloading them one at a time. So it's all kind of broken compared to what it was. You can see that it added some to the UI layer. It added some to the battlefield. So yeah, definitely broken. And it's finding all the users, etc. Failed to process file. So basically, I need to start and back a little bit and figure out player rankings, battle rankings. I'm gonna watch for errors. I still haven't seen the actual errors except for these failures here. Okay, the match is ending before the player is loading. Let's look if there are errors on the server side. Nothing on the server side. Just gonna watch for this to complete again and see what happens. So it's a free-for-all mode. I'm gonna mute the music. It loaded 100 token holders. I just realized something that might be happening. Match ended with no winner. Okay. Okay, so what's happening? I'm going to try and describe this. What's happening is that the players are spawning in the battlefield. Do I recognize some of these? I'm going to take a screenshot of this and give it to AI and try and describe what's happening because there are no errors here. So first thing I'm going to do is, and I don't know if it's related to the wallet changes we did last night because I think that those were still running. The free-for-all matches are starting, and I can't paste a screenshot into Grok because Grok does not like visual processing. I have to pick GPT-5. The free-for-all matches are starting, and some users and some players are spawning, but some are being spawned in the UI layer, The match ends almost instantly. Can you see what's wrong? I had asked it to make a lot of changes, so it's not quite clear what could have changed yet. I didn't change any of the. We can close that down. I didn't change any of the. Yeah, sure, save. Any of the way that the battle logic works. Loaded 100 token holders. 6 new battlefield sprites. It looks like it loaded everything up correctly. But then we get all this. So I'm just going to paste some of the login. Updating boundary at least once. I see the map boundary here. So it's ending very, very quickly. And then it's sending out, how many is this? I'm just going to quickly count to see if this is the end of the match. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 30. It's a bunch. It's like 50 or 60. So I'm going to paste some of the log in. Here is some of the log. We don't have the log added for like end of the match. Like when it says looking for user in the console log here, found user for wallet. I think this is at the end when it's assigning points to people for either getting eliminations or being in the top like 20 or whatever. But after all this theme editor work, I just basically want this theme to work again, is what we're going for. All right, let's see if I can find anything out. There are no errors. That's fine, yes. When I told it that players are spawning in the UI layer, like there are two different cameras. There's a UI camera that keeps things non-scaled and always like 1-to-1. Then there's an in-game camera which goes around in the world. So taking a look at what's changed, this is where I have game logic. This pending, oh, this could have been the change right now, the pending auto join. That was the only change to the game logic, was this. Actually, I don't see anywhere else where this was added. Theme creator, chat command, intermission manager. Yeah, I'm not quite sure that this was a complete change either, because it should have had more to it than this. Pending auto join applied. One, two, three. Yeah. I think it's going to be confused. I asked it quite a lot. I also don't want it running the chat relay if I haven't asked it to connect. Did I ask it to connect? I may have. Here. Here. Please don't connect the chat relay server side unless the web page has made a connect request. I see it auto connecting when the server starts. Close this down. Let's start it up again. All right, it's maybe not. Maybe it's not auto connecting. I think it just doesn't close down the. We'll see. I think it's not closing down the chat connection um, when the page drops. Because why would it? If you shut down a web page, that's not telling it anything. I'd have to add a before destroy thing into the web page to send out a quick command to the server that says I'm out of here. In order for it to actually stop the chat. Otherwise, it'll continue to monitor the chat, which we don't want to do. But that's a bug to fix after. So I'm just going to add to the roadmap for now so I don't lose track of it. Tear down chat server relay when page exits. Yeah, because I don't have any errors in console, I just have to basically understand what changed between then and now. I think most of what we changed was pulling the theme from the database, which was already, should have been. It looked like it loaded okay. I saw players spawning in just fine. That's never happened before, though. So that's kind of new. The tick loop checked win condition before spawn completed, seeing 0 alive and ending instantly. Added a short spawn guard. But why? Set it to false at the end. Early return. Client makes guard in the update loop to skip logic. Some players shown in the UI layer. Yeah, this should have already been happening as well. No players render stuck in the top left UI area. All appear in the arena, move around. All right, let's give it a shot. So we're going to start everything again. And then we'll start to add some debug if it still doesn't work. So again, I'm just going to go to game and select the free-for-all mode. The default theme is already there. I'm going to set the match type. I'm not going to bother doing the connection this time to chat. I just want it to work. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see the console a little bit better. There we go. So it preloaded all the player art. These errors are normal. These are old battlefields that I'm not using anymore. And actually, I'll go through and find them so I can get rid of them in a sec. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is where people would be joining. Okay, I don't see anybody spawning. I see players spawning in the players spawning in the UI layer. Actually, what are we actually seeing here? These are correct. They're spawning in the UI layer, all of them. But their health bars and shield icons are spawning down below. This is funny. Are they? Are they spawning in the UI layer? It's hard to tell. No, he's got a health bar that's moving around. We'll just let this run for a little while, actually, because it'll be a lot easier to see when there's only like 10 players left what the heck is actually going on. I don't know if they're in the... They look like they're in the UI layer because they don't scale. They're up in my face. But let's let them die a bit. And we can watch the map boundaries kind of close in. This is the zone. So this is a battle royale mode where the zone kind of closes in just like you'd expect. and I have a red line. I also have a little red square that shows me where my camera should be focusing, so I can zoom around to look at action. Normally we see players on the screen. This is kind of funny. I'm just going to take a screenshot for posterity. Broken. It be broken. And zooming way in, these look like they're at the correct scale. In the camera autofocus returns back to center after a little while. That way I can, it's meant to, so if it could run 24 hours a day automated, or you could be like a streamer running matches for your audience, for your players, and you want to click around on the screen to be like, let's zoom in and see what's going on over here, just like you're at a football match, and kind of like, like live broadcasting what's going on. The reason why I'm waiting to see what happens when there are less players is because we're getting down to 7 players left. It says up here, it's hidden a little bit, but it's getting to 7 players left. I want to see if the guys come back on the screen, if they match up. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. I see this black shield, and I just saw a dude with black shield down here in the corner. So the players are definitely, they're not being spawned in the world. They're also being spawned in the UI layer for sure. So now I can describe to AI what it is that I'm seeing a little bit better. So who knows? They're wandering around in the AI layer, but also here. So now there are 3 players left. We don't see their name tags either. It's just a total mess. But I think this is the result of the asset loading system from the new theme system we made. But let's stop this nonsense. Okay. Okay, here is what I'm seeing. No errors in the console, by the way. Players are being spawned in both the UI layer, are being drawn, both the UI layer and the world. But this is crazy. But I don't see any player names in the world and no player sprites. In the UI layer, I see player sprites and names. We haven't changed how visibility works. So this may be related to asset loading from the new theme changes. Because maybe they weren't ready yet, is what I'm thinking. Maybe they just weren't ready yet. Some players. Perhaps, I'm just going to make a suggestion, and it can decide if I'm right or not. Perhaps the assets weren't yet loaded, available when players started spawning. I no longer have a good screenshot to show it either. But I can look at changes is what I can do and see. Let's look at player, for example. Ensure sprite is rendered by world camera, not UI camera. Well, this is telling it to render on the world camera, but it's not telling us to skip the UI camera. So that's one thing. In player.js, we are telling in the constructor, I'll say this: GPT-5 is usually really good at not making these kind of mistakes, but the project is starting to get more complicated, for sure. And players.js and the constructor. And actually, I should probably start a new context for the chat, but we'll see if it can fix it. And player.js and the constructor, we are telling. Oh, we're actually telling it to ignore the sprite. No. We're telling the world camera not to ignore the player sprite, but we should be also telling the UI camera, I think we do that later on, to ignore the sprite. It's just inconsistent. Let's look for the word ignore. I'm going to go ahead and open this up separately. It should be telling it somewhere else. So that's the scene.world camera ignore. So if this function exists and this camera exists, make it not ignore the sprite. So world camera should not be ignoring the sprite. So we should see all the sprites in the world. Okay. When this player is created. And we'll also start to see all the wallet addresses. I want to see the names. Okay, if so again, we're telling the world camera to ignore the name text, not to ignore the name text. Okay. Yeah, we're shutting off the ignore for the name text. And no, goes back to the first one. I think I have something else too that's going to ignore the name tag. Let's make sure all player names are visible. All bars, badges are visible. I think I have this only turning on when there's 50. Let's find out. Backpass. 50. I think I have it set so when there's 50 players or less, it shows all the players' name tags. I don't remember where I did that though. Make sure all players are visible at all times in the world. To further complicate it, we also spawn the player sprites in the join screen when players join manually. But yeah. So yeah, started with JSON files for data, hard coded, move stuff into the database. Now we need to support multiple themes inside the database. So we're kind of working through those errors and side effects so that works, so that we can get a custom theme running, because we're launching this thing in about 2 weeks. It does run live. Some dude just said the project is stagnant. Okay, bro. Yeah, the chart is stagnant, but the development is not stagnant. It's not all about that. There are 2.7 million streamers every day with an audience of like 600 million daily active users. And we're creating a game and content for them to use whenever, and with interactive audience functionality. So it's a little something different for sure. But with that large of a total addressable market and a little bit of work of getting it out there, I think that would be all right. Your read is right. Some visuals being rendered on the UI camera because we didn't explicitly exclude them from the UI layer. Well, we used to do that. And we also had a timing window where players could spawn before all assets were ready, leading to 0 alive checks. Aha, I've addressed both points. Okay, so it feels pretty confident that I addressed stuff. One of the things that's funny and also frustrating about Web3 people is that they have zero, a lot of them have zero vision. They will just trade a chart. So that can be frustrating if you are if you are a developer, such as myself, or game developer, is that people only interested in, token value, without having any vision of what it could be or whatever. It's like if the price isn't up, they get all upset. Which is foolish, but also it's like we're beholden to prices for things because they create the value that we survive on, that we paid server bills and roofs over our head and stuff like that. Or we could go launch in Steam and Epic and App Store and deal with those things. Okay, so the battlefield loaded. There were no errors. Here are all the players. They're looking fine. There's no players spawning in the UI layer. So that's much better. And let's go ahead and see if this looks like it should, actually. This looks like it should. All right, so we're going to let this run. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit on it. These guys are battling out. So finally, this is looking decent again. And this is all being loaded from the database, no hard-coded files, so pretty happy about that. So again, I'm just basically trying to get the basic theme working again so I can create a custom theme. Because somebody has made a really, really hilarious theme called Hood Wars, with all the stereotypes in it. And we're going to add it in here. They're going to launch it next week, or as soon as we're ready. Let's zoom around a little bit, watch some action. And I'll go ahead and put this volume on just for fun. There's a lot of dying going on. All these sounds that you hear, these are all the random sounds. For battle. So now we're down to the final 5, and this is a little tease of side betting or prediction market betting. Because then you could look and see, okay, I think I have an idea of who's going to win this. Let me place a little 50-cent side bet on it and see what happens. All right, down to the final 3. He's going to get some health. He's going to grab some health from that watermelon. This guy's just wandering around. He has the most health left. But he, with a badge on, is special for a reason. Maybe they're a top holder in the community or something. So he might hit harder. No, they had more health is what they had. And they're already down on that. So he's going to probably win the battle if it's just based on health. But oh, uh-oh. He's hurt pretty bad. And he's got more health. Oh, okay, so now this is where it gets interesting. What happens near the end? It's going to be a close one. All right, it finally worked. Okay, so because it worked, and I'm very grateful, I'm gonna go ahead and go to my repo and save things out. I recorded the battle results in the database. It awarded people points for the various eliminations they got, and all that kind of stuff. So very cool. I'll go ahead and save all this stuff because it worked. Before I do, I want to take a look because I asked it to document stuff. And I'm going to head and close down this chat too to start a new one after. But I want to look at the documentation it created. Oh, here it is. Theme creator guide. Create new theme, whatever. Okay, so this has instructions on the theme creator and the architecture. So when I add new engineers to the project, they have some documentation about how this works. So this is great. I never remember to do documentation myself, but I am going to be adding new people because the project is going to go bananas. I believe that. Working custom theme. All the things I needed to see were correct. So we saw intermission screens, we heard music, we heard the battle sounds, the players, all that stuff came out. The one thing we didn't check actually was the joining. So let's try this again and try and join. I'm going to be trying to join from the Pump Fun chat. So the way that I would do that, this is hooked up through the Pump Fun live chat. And again, I'm going to hook it up through. Normally what would happen is you as the creator, if you have your own channel where you stream, you'll put in all the different tokens or API, whatever you need to define the chats that you're going to hook into for interaction. They'll have a second screen. They'll be able to type in a URL with a join code. They'll have all the commands and buttons. But if you're doing chat-based interaction, that's going to be a little bit different, right? So we'll connect here, connected. Now I'm going to do a quick test. And okay, it came in. So what I want to see happen is I want to be able to join the match, have my player icon show there, and not have it screw up the sprite that's joining into the world. So instead of getting pulled from the database of holders, I want to join it manually through the chat. That way, if I'm watching your stream, I can hit join. I can type in join in the chat, and it pops open. That worked. Fantastic. And it grabbed my chat name out of Pump Fun, whatever. So again, this could happen from TikTok or YouTube Live or Facebook Live, Kick, wherever you stream. We're gonna be able to hook into all those different chat systems. This one works on Pump Fun. Right now, that's the easiest one for me to have set up. So here's the battle started. It started before the first intermission came. That's a little bit of a bug, but I was able to join. And now I actually can type in a command called show, which finds me. Because right now I couldn't see where I am in the battlefield because it's huge. But if I type show, I'll sparkle and glow a little bit. And soon I'll have other like placards that show up behind the player character. So it looks a lot cooler as I zoom in. And let's go kind of like look at the action. I'm going to mute. Okay, so this is me over here somewhere. Oh, it says admin. So that's a little bit of a bug because my name is admin in the database, but I wanted it to be my chat name. That's okay because the way that would work is here. There's a profile where you actually tie your various wallets or logins, like your TikTok, your logins. You'll basically do account linking here so that anywhere you log in, it has access to all your stuff. That way, if you win a prize, and there's a lot of things here for prize pools and sponsorships and revenue streams that go into prize pools, because that's the real beauty of Web3 is being able to give money back to the players. So if you have different wallets connected, you'll be able to receive prizes in those wallets. And here's the automatic camera system. So all that is working fine. and I'm happy with it. So I did all that to be able to create a new custom theme, but at least we got this existing one running. So let's go ahead and go and see what kind of errors we have to deal with now. No changes, so I've committed all the changes. We're in a good spot, and we will shut that here and we'll go right to theme creator. So the last hour and a half has been, oh, I tried to create a new theme and I couldn't. So the illest ghetto inspired theme featuring all your favorite expected characters. The illest ghetto inspired theme featuring all your favorite expected characters. And we were seeing errors, okay, just trying to save the new theme. So let's see where we're at. I'm expecting errors again, to be clear. Okay, so it created the theme, and then it unlocked places where I can upload a cover image and stuff like that. So, I mean, here I've got all these different, things ready and waiting for me to add stuff to them. But let's go check and see what's happening on the database. Okay. Well, let's start with a cover image, I guess. We've got battlefield maps and a cover image. I don't have a Hood Wars, or do I? Do I have a Hood Wars cover image? Let's find out. I'm gonna go to my buddy's chat because he has all kinds of insane stuff that he made for Hood Wars because he's the creator of this whole thing. And trying to find something that I can use for a cover image. I'm going to use this. I'm going to grab that. Save as. Actually, can I copy and paste? I don't think so. All right, let me save this as Hood Wars cover. I actually haven't said. I think the cover image should be like an aspect ratio. I didn't define that yet, so we'll see. Oh, it wants a 1-to-1, 2-to-1. So 2-to-1. Okay, I think that actually looked 2-to-1-ish. Upload cover image. Soul Wars, themes, Hood Wars, cover image. That looks 2-to-1. Yeah, all right. And let's go find out if it popped up onto S3. You know what I should show? I should also show what the I should show in the theme editor what the ID is. So this is 94F. Here it is. And there's the cover image. Is it publicly accessible? It is. All right. I'll be back in a sec. All right, I'm back. So what I want to do right now is I want to quickly get to whether I can load up a battlefield image and a player image, because this is what I've been excited about. So let me go to That way we can start the thing up with a custom theme and try and get it to run. Yeah. All right, let's go to Battlefields, and I have a bunch here already. Let me put the extra large versions of them. If I can get one to run, they should all run. Is my feeling. We'll pick this one. Oops. It's going to upload it. Here it is. Beautiful. And if I click on it, I should show me full screen. Oh, this is getting exciting. Player images. I haven't set up the player images yet. I do have a bunch. Okay. I do have a punch. I could scroll up and get his player images out of this Telegram. I still need to make round versions of them. I'm just kind of going to find the player images. This is very, very exciting for me. Okay, I know that I'm going to have to modify some of these. But, because they're hilarious. But some of them aren't. I'll show you what I mean. So some of them are not set up really well to players. What would you call this? Heads? No. Round? Yeah. So the players basically have their like spotlight images, which he has a bunch of them. These are like spotlights. So in the beginning of as the game is loading, you'll see these various images and the description of the types of players they are. But we also need these. I don't even know the name of these. So I'm just gonna call them player one because it's whatever. And that's a JPEG. It needs to be a PNG because it needs to be round. So we're gonna save that out and actually we'll go ahead and quickly make it round. Full Wars, themes, Hood Wars, players, round. So we'll open this up as a PNG here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of modify all these because I mean, he created all the artwork, but I didn't, and I gave specs, but I didn't say exactly like what sizes. I said 1-to-1 aspect ratio, and I'll take care of the rest. But what that means is now I have to, make this kind of work out. Oops. I'm not a Photoshop expert, so I'm going to eyeball this. That's the top. That's the side. I even closed one eye. I'll have to modify this a little bit. Can I just use the arrow keys? Yes, I can. Okay. And now I want to invert the selection and cut. Okay, this was a JPEG, so I need to add a transparency layer. So let's add another layer on the background. I'm going to unlock this. There we go. Now it's in the background and do it again. Here. Edit. Whoops. Edit. Cut. There we go. Now we have transparent, and now I can. I do need to make sure that the right size. This is 1024 by 1024. Okay. I'm gonna have to basically process all this art. This is just a quick test. So what I want to do is crop it here to here. Original ratio. And then I'll just resize the canvas. Okay, so now image size, it's pretty close, 1024, 1024 pixels, perfect. And now I'll save it out as I think 512 is probably too much because they don't, I think 512 is too much. Let's go with 256. Yeah, I'm going to go with 256. Less is more. Themes, Hood Wars, Player 1 PNG. Player 1 round, Player 1 PNG. Okay, so that's Player 1 JPEG. So I'm just going to do 2, okay? 2 players. I'll grab another one from this list of players that he gave me. But I want them to be heads, so we'll see how they show up in the battlefield. I think what we intend to do is have like an animated body that looks like it's running around, and then we want to see the head. These were not created as heads; they were created as like characters. So I'm just going to do another one. Players round here. Open with Photoshop, and we'll go ahead and do the round. Here. And I know there is a shrink selection, but I'm just going to do it from scratch again because it takes a long time. So eyeballing it, going here and here. And as I get more particular, I was giving rough guesses as to the creator about how I wanted things. But as I get more particular, I'll be able to tell people when you make your theme, do this and this and this, all that. So select, invert. I did the same thing again. It's using the background color. I should have done this to begin with. New layer. Okay. Unlock. So let's go to this layer and cut it out again. Good. Now we'll do the crop. See, it's like once you get it done once or twice, it gets a lot faster to do. And we want to give people exact specs and examples that they can see of how to create a theme. Because we want hundreds of themes. We want people to be able to create themes, make money, sell them, bring on new people to do that, and and sell it for a long time. So let's do this as 1024, 1024, just to make sure it looks okay. That's fine, and then we'll export as PNG with, I want 256. 256, nice and small, and that'll be player 2. 2. Okay, so now we have 2 player images created, and I should be able to load those up. I don't need this JPEG anymore. I'll be able to load this up and sort of see what they look like on the battlefield, or if there are errors or whatever. So I already know that files are being uploaded. I think this went into the database as a battlefield, but let's check. Theme battlefield. Yeah. Object scale is going to be default 4 with no margin. So this is the spawning margin. I think I did want to set these as defaults. That's a whole nother thing, is setting the margin. So some of the battlefields that I have, you'll see are, let's do large icons, view extra large icons. Some of the battlefields actually have cool scenery in them, like this one. And what we want to do is be able to support this kind of thing to say, okay, this is actually the fight area, this area here. So give it a margin of 10% or something like that so that people don't spawn on top of your cool scenery. So to do that, I created a margin system for the battlefields where the players won't spawn there. But the default is 0 right now, so they're just going to spawn on top of that piece of scenery. And so that's just a neat way for us to be able to support, artistry, and for people to create the battlefields that they want to. Okay, player images, drop files here. Let's try the drop functionality, see if that works. Players, round. Let's drop these in and see what happens. Probably gonna bug out. Yeah, I picked one. I'm gonna delete it. I don't really have a name for this. I don't really understand what this was supposed to be for. Player name, Reggie? I don't know. Let's see if this does anything. Yeah, the uploaded asset, I shouldn't see this tag. It should say the name of it or whatever. That's useless to the theme editor or the guy who's working on it. But for now, we're going to roll with it. And the second one, okay, so we've got 2 players. Let's check the database. I know that the files are uploaded. I have a feeling they were. Let's go check. Oh, this is looking good. Battlefield is uploaded as a JPEG. Yep, players are uploaded here. Good to go. So even as 256 by 256, they're still. Oh, that's funny. They are only. I wonder if they get resized. I think that what we did is resize them. I'm looking at the original files and they're only 122K, but these are much larger. So just for fun, yeah, it looks like they've been resized upwards. So I must have that in my code to do that, to make them 512. Just for fun, I'm going to download this and make sure that it kept the transparencies. Documents, so let's see, games, wars, themes, hood wars, players, round. I'm going to open this up and just take a look and see what it looks like inside Photoshop. It did maintain the transparency, and it did resize it to 512 by 512. So I have that in the server-side code to do that, which is fine. Okay, so going back to the Battlefield editor here. So we have 2 players loaded and a battlefield. Got no music yet, so let's go ahead and add some music. This is cool. I have a lot of music for this theme, but where is it? Where is it? Soundtrack. That's music. And this is 3 megs, so this should be fine. I'll go ahead and drop it in here. So we have some music, we have a battlefield, we have 2 players. That should be enough to run this thing. There are no intermission screens yet. But I'm curious. If I was going to go, let's just maybe try run it. I really want to run it. Let's try running it. Before I do, I'm going to go check chat. It's been a while. I've been very greedy here. Oh, no, nobody on the Pump Fun chat. That's great. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and check out and see if this theme runs. So now there's a theme, Hood Wars. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, and it's probably going to error out. But that's okay. We're going to work through the errors one by one. And I'm going to minimize it a couple times. Okay, Hood Wars. Okay, it's got it loaded. Free for all, set match, launch. Failed to process file, failed to process image. Okay, no problem. Images are queued, so let's find out why it couldn't load the images. So we're going to see a black screen in a second, probably. Yeah, black screen. That's what this means. Okay, and they're gonna battle. Failed to process file. Preloading all assets queued. Battlefield's key. All right, this is fine. It's probably using the wrong path. Preload theme. Preload player assets found. Player image. Queue battlefield image. Battlefield images queued. Loading battlefield sprite. That's not a battlefield sprite. Okay. Select a player texture not found. Falling back. All right. For one, we don't have fallbacks assigned, and that's fine. I'm going to basically require things to be defined. Battlefield images queued in the preload scene. Preload scene player assets found. Okay. I want to make sure in the preload scene that it's loading correctly. Okay, I'm just going to describe to AI what I saw as a problem. Um, it looks like it didn't make the request. So actually, let's go ahead and look at the network panel and see. Because some of these would have just failed. What were these? Oh, these were, okay, so I want to see all of the images. That was the X, the death marker, localhost blobs. I don't see it trying to load anything from S3. Okay, so let's find out what the custom theme was. What it pulled down for data is what we want to do. So let's load up the theme ID. Default. Okay, so battlefields here, music here, players are here. Okay, this is perfect. So here's all the data it came down with. And what I had told it to do earlier was use the S3 path. So I am trying a new custom theme, and the assets are not yet loading in the game. We should be using the S3 path, bucket name, and subfolders found in the theme data. The known S3 path and bucket name for the project, and subfolders and file names derived from and found in. For normalized data, this is actually pretty good, because instead of having all these paths out to S3, I have the image name. So it would have the S3 bucket name with a folder name Battlefields and then image. Same thing for music. We'd have these things like this, players there. That way we don't have to have the full path in. And the data is normalized, so it comes down very quickly, because these theme files can get really big. Here is the theme data. And I'm also going to give it the console log that said, yep, not found. Just going to give it this. So it can make the correlation between the theme data. In the console, I know why. I can see that it's clearly not making the request out to S3. There's a lot of information. Ready? Go. I'm getting really, really hungry. Well, I should be. It's like 4:48. My gosh, I've been doing this for hours. Stream on in the background. Got you. Thank you, Moki. I appreciate you. Been doing this for, I guess, a few hours now. I'll put back the regular thing and run it in a couple minutes. I'm gonna taunt this guy because it's ridiculous. If you don't like it, buddy, Wesley Cron USANA, USANA, whatever, then feel free to not hang around, man. Okay, I'm going to scan the asset loading coding docs, see how the theme-based assets passes S3 toggle are determined, especially in preload scene and where the S3 bucket should be set. So while it's doing that, I'm going to go get the bucket name myself, because this is an object URL. So I want to look for this in the code. I don't know if it's in my. Let me turn off the screen share for a sec, just in case it's in the other thing. It's actually nowhere. It needs to be. Where is the actual bucket? Oh, there it is. Base path. Oh, I know why, because I did a full. Okay. Here it is. So that is not correct. Why is that not correct? That's the object URL. That's interesting. Okay, so it made a simple mistake as to where to download the files from. And I'm just going to tell it. Here's an example. I think I see. Of an asset URL directly. It doesn't have the bucket region specified, so I don't remember actually having to do that. I feel like the first one resolves if you don't have anything else set up. Amazon AWS, that should be the bucket name because you're not normally doing it by region. Didn't used to be that way, but I could be wrong. I don't know when that would have changed. Access points. Yeah, I would have to set up access points for different regions. But I don't have any. They're just all universal. There should be. So that's interesting. And where's the new theme? I think it's this one. Cover. Yeah, it's always got the access name in it. Except this does not. But that's cool. So this AWS region is in a particular. Okay, this object is in a particular region. And that's the key for it. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize that that was a thing. We're having trouble connecting to the model. So let's not try to region aware fallbacks. Please continue. There was an error, so I'm going to say, hey, continue. I don't realize that there's a problem. As an investor, I wanted to see more momentum. I understand. I'm launching in just under 2 weeks. Many people aren't aware of what this project is yet or its capacity to grow. Hint, not a mean point. The chart has been strong compared to most other tokens launched on PF, regardless, for a reason. But you know what? You just saw our chart and you hit buy, buddy. Um, all right, I think that looks good. And actually, people are going to be coming to the project outside of Web3 completely. They'll be coming from like TikTok, not have wallets, want to use Stripe, and that's perfectly acceptable. That revenue flows into the treasury. The treasury can use to buy underlying assets because we need those things for prize pools. I can't easily distribute US dollars from prize pools. That's what Web3 is very good at. So we can create wallets for people and assign them, send them prize money, um, and kind of just handle everything on the rails without people even realizing it's a Web3 project, which is the goal. Web3, it should be the rails, it should be the infrastructure to be able to reward people who own bosses and battlefields and items and sell things and microtransactions in a very, very easy way. And it's going to give us that capacity. All right, so we did a bunch of stuff, and we're going to try this again. Let's try it again. Free for all, Hood Wars, set match, launch. Okay, this is better. Now it's trying to go out and grab stuff. So now I have a cores issue. There we go. That's beautiful. Much, much better. No access control. Okay. This is different when you're trying to access stuff that's on S3 and you don't have cores policies defined, you get this kind of stuff. It's always a pain in the butt to fix, but you only have to do it once. It's only a pain in the butt because I'm not a DevOps guy. But I've done it many times. So I'm going to say something obvious. Looks like a cores issue. Please let me know what I need to change on the S3 bucket permissions policy to fix it. Cores is cross-origin resource scripting. So when you're making a request to something that's on another domain, in this case, we're asking for something from Amazon.com, AmazonAWS.com, and we haven't tried this yet, actually, in the project. And it's not hosted on another website, but it's hosted on localhost, which is kind of like the internet's name for your local computer. We have to tell Amazon that it's okay for it to do that and to serve the files. You can be very restrictive and to say only allow certain domains to get certain files. Yeah, like this. Only allow certain domains to get certain files, and you can even have it like it says here, exposed headers etag, which tells it like the recentness of the file, so it knows whether it should cache it or not in the browser. So and how old that should be. So I'm just going to go right to paste this configuration. Usually it gets it correct. So get and head. Those are the HTTP operations that we're using to pull the files. Head gets the information about it, the name and the length and all that stuff, the file size, and the MIME type, which is the content type, and get is pulling the file in. So we need to allow this. Amazon lets you be very, very granular in its permissions. So we'll go ahead and fix that, and we'll add our domain too while we do that. So let me go ahead and add this to AWS. We'll go out to the bucket policy to do that. And following its directions specifically, go to your S3 bucket. And this is nice that it tells you because it changes all the time. Because Amazon keeps building. So as things change, things move around. So instead of having to go out and click around and click Stack Overflow, I want to get stuff done and shipped. So I'm going to follow the instructions. They make sense. I don't just blindly copy and paste stuff. I'm going to look at it. So bucket policy. Scroll down to cross-origin resource sharing. And look at that. There's nothing there. There's no policy there. So in order for us to create one, we're going to have to create one here. Let's paste this in. It looks like valid JSON. And now we can go through and check again. Allowed headers, yes. We want to be able to grab these files from localhost and from soulwars.gg. And I don't know if I have to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't know if it needs a subdomain. I could probably have used a wildcard, but I don't remember. I don't want to have to go find out what the theory is, so I'm just going to save it anyway. This will take time to figure out. Not too much time. It actually usually goes pretty fast. So I'm going to go ahead and check and see if these files are still publicly available. Whoops. They should be, because we already said that they were publicly available. What it's not allowing them is to be script pulled. When you ask for a file in a web browser, it's not pulling it from a script. It's just navigating to it. So that should work fine. I shouldn't actually have to change any code for it. So let's just reload the page. And when I change the theme and do free-for-all, set match, and launch, the requests will go out and we should see that they resolve. If not, we'll have to give the new error to the AI and sort of repeat and rinse, repeat. It did find the assets. Now it's going to try and load them up. It's not going to tell us if it loaded them up. It's just going to make the calls out. So let's look for one. Okay, it's promising in that the battlefield image seems like it was pulled in the player images, so maybe we'll see that. It didn't pull in the music. It's using default music. Okay, there's a battlefield. I don't see the player sprites. But hey, that is actually kind of cool. Selected player not found. Falling back to easy hard. All right, I'm just going to do a couple queue player image. Did it actually load it up? Available player texture keys. That's a sign. Battlefield image loaded. Yay! And we should actually be able to change the names of the battlefields in the editor. That's a bug. But at least we see a battlefield. We see the first battle music keys. These are not the correct battle music keys. So a few different bugs we're looking at. So this is the first bug here. Player texture keys. Player assets found. I don't know if it loaded them. All assets queued for loading. Yeah, I don't see where the player textures were loaded. So just going to copy this. Going to expand this object so it can see that it's empty. Player assets found. I'm going to expand that a little bit. Making progress. Okay. Battlefield loaded just fine. Loaded fine. But the player images do not. Please add debug logging to the preload so we can see the URLs that the player images are trying to load from. It could just be a problem with that, or even if I don't know if they even made the request. Network, do we see any red here? Cores error, that was before. I don't even see anything here. I don't even see that they were tried to load. I don't see any failed. Player image loads in the network console. Did they even try to preload? We should be doing this when the theme is first selected. All right. Definitely making progress. So we got a battlefield loading. Got no music loading yet. I don't see that the player images being queued for loading, but they're not actually available when the game starts. The problem is that the theme data has the player assets as strings, but the game expects them to be objects with an image property. Let me check how the theme data is being assembled and fix the player asset handling. I found the issue. The game is hard loaded to look for a specific. No, I don't think that's true. It had other errors around here. Select player texture not found. The game needs to dynamically get player textures from the theme instead of using hard-coded names. Okay, let me update the game to use theme-based player textures and add better changing. Add some detailed logging. So it's changing the way it works, which means it may have messed up the default theme as well. So that's something I'm gonna have to go check and make sure it works still. So when it's done, it's still rolling. Oh, it's kind of cute. I asked it to create a document explaining changes before, so now it's doing it for all little changes. Dynamic player textures. Okay, so let's try the basic one first, and then we'll actually. I'm going to try Hood Wars. Loading theme. I want it to start loading the resources for this thing. When it gets selected, it should load. Maybe not. Preload scene. Loaded image. It absolutely loaded the player image. It's there with a key. With the battlefield's been loaded as well. So 100% that has been loaded. In phaser.js, things need a key, which is just like a name. So I think I can. I don't see any errors here. No player textures available. Using the game available textures not available. Oh, Battlefield sprites loaded. It loaded my player textures. Funny. Show joining screen token holders. Get available player textures. Why? Okay. Available player texture keys. Okay. I'm going to basically copy and paste what's here. And show it. I have to actually go all the way down. And the list is empty, so I have to open up that. Player texture is not. Yeah. So now I'm going to copy and paste so it can see. Did try and load everything. It loaded it. It loaded the image. Player, and that was the key for it. Okay. Perfect. So here we go. Gotta copy and paste this. It did download the images. That we know. The image is loading, but it's not finding the theme. This is because get current theme isn't available on the game scene. Oh, why not? Oh, okay. So the theme list wasn't being overridden. The player list wasn't using the actual theme information. The problem is that get current theme wasn't imported, so it couldn't access the theme data. Now it will properly import the theme, call it directly, get the theme data with player assets. Use those player textures in the game. When you restart the client, you should see. Yep. Okay. That seems correct. It was using defaults before, which worked. Then why did the Battlefield's texture work? We'll see. Hood Wars, free for all, set match, launch. It preloaded the images, queued the player image. Perfect. All that is good. Error decoding audio. Unable to code audio data. Oh, it actually tried to bring in my battle music. Okay, that's okay. Oh my gosh, the player images are here. Yeah. Dang, it's awesome. The player images are here. You can see through the margins that they spawn like in the middle. So we definitely need to change up the data for the map. But the player image is loaded. Hooray! So now we have player images loading, and we have a battlefield loading. This is good. Now we just have to focus on why it couldn't load the music. Maybe I need to send it as a WAV file. How is the other music being managed? Public, assets, music, battle music. This is an MP3. Okay. And how did I upload the music? Not found in cache. Audio key not found in cache. Error decoding audio. Was it an MP3? I can't remember. Yeah, it was an MP3. Error decoding audio. Unable to decode audio data. Why? Why? Next battlefield music. Okay, maybe it didn't have it. I don't know why. I don't know if this is a phaser.js thing. If it didn't download it, may have not been able to download it. Let's go looking for it. I don't think it downloaded it. Okay. Selected battlefield music. Is the theme music downloading correctly? Fixing things one by one. I see these errors in the console. I'm also going to go ahead and get the theme, the path to the file so it knows. Themes, and this was 94F, I believe. Music. Here we go. Battlefield music. I see these errors in the console. I rebuilt with its full path the music file would be at okay. I think the problem is I didn't try downloading it. I'm just gonna look for network issues with the downloading. But it's really cool to see the player icon. So we get battlefields and we get theme players. We're close to having a working theme. You need the music and then some of the screens, but we're getting there. So very exciting. Why themes are important is theoretically, given the budget to do stuff, we could go license IP, and give royalties for things that are purchased. We could have people create themes that are like tech bros, in contact, be like, hey, there's a battle running and you're in it. There's so many different themes you could create that are for streamers or for personalities, celebrities, groups that are very well loved, IP that is very well loved, animes that are very well loved. and create the characters so they run. I mean, I'd love to see a Hunter x Hunter theme, for example. I love Hunter x Hunter. I actually have Gon Freese right here on my desk all the time. He's such a positive little dude. And my kids love anime too. So, all right, let's see if it found something. The music file exists, but there's an issue with how the music path is being constructed. Aha! The problem is that the music key included the MP3 extension, but the path constructor is likely adding it twice. Let me check how Battlefield music is loaded. Let me find blah, blah, blah. Found it. Let's go see where it found it. Okay. It's hard-coded to use the assets key instead of using S3 pass. Perfect. The issue was online when it was hard-coded instead of check and theme. What effect? Blah, 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 blah. Yes. Okay. Okay. I also want to make sure, please also make sure for battle music, only the music I've specified in the custom theme should be used, not the intermission screen music. And why I say that is because when I click this, Battlefield's music, there's only one battle music key. I'm just going to tell it that and see if it can figure it out. Yes. Oh. Perfect. Excellent. You know, this reminds me, I do need to go back and check the default theme as well, but I'll do that a little later. Okay, let's pull this open. We reload the page. I'll put this off to the side, clear it out. Pick the Hood Wars theme, do free for all, set match. I'm going to turn my volume up a little bit so I can hear the music if it comes in, because that'll be pretty awesome if it does. Pretty cool. Okay. That's the correct file. There's the music. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen. Custom theme. The custom theme is running. It's running and it's glorious. Very exciting. Okay. This is awesome. This is super, super awesome. The red line is the zone. We've seen it. So let's go ahead and change the theme for this thing. Man, this is cool. Let's change the theme and make sure that that still works correctly. This is cool. I am very psyched. Didn't expect to get that running so quickly. Very, very excited. I want to rebuild the default theme on S3 as well. This is default music coming through. Oh, I should check the join for the custom theme as well. I'm gonna text my buddy. Okay, I'm gonna mute the site. I love it, but I'm gonna mute it. And I'm gonna try and join and see if I come in as one of the Hood Wars characters. This is cool. Okay, so I'm going to select the Hood Wars theme. I'm gonna select the Hood Wars theme. I'm going to connect to the chat. Bam, connect. I'm gonna type in Robos. What did you miss? First look at the Hood Wars theme. I've been working on the custom editor to get the Hood Wars theme loaded up onto S3 and running inside the game. That's been crazy changes to do that. And we just start running with the battlefield, the custom player icons, and some music. So, still lots of other things to put into place. But man, that was a big smiley moment for me. Test. I'm going to do a test in the chat. Okay, I came through. So we're going to set the Hood Wars theme. It's a free for all. Going to launch it. Huge, huge, huge moment getting that custom theme running. I am so excited. If one custom music ran, they should all run. So let's hear the music again. Yeah, there it is, baby. Turn it down. Oh, I need to join it. Damn, I joined and look at it's using the player artwork from the theme. There it is. Oh ho ho ho. And let's zoom in. We need all the battle sounds. We need the hiya and the trash talk and all that stuff. And we also need to define the battlefield boundaries because the margins are bad. Let's go ahead and just fix that now in the database. Oh, let's check the scale of these things. The scale of the guys looks okay right now, so I'm going to keep it at 2. This isn't a giant battlefield, but we are going to set the margin. So we're going to set a 2% margin and make sure that it knows that the map size is large. And we'll just run this again and see how it runs. We might have to make the objects bigger. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to I don't have to make any code changes. Just restart it. So excited. This is history. This is freaking cool, man. Set match, launch. All right, so by setting the margins and the battlefield size, that affects how big things appear because this system is meant to do very huge battles and different map sizes. Man, this is crazy. So I also need to give the music's names, which isn't happening yet in the database. So it has like cool names like Hood Revenge and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, dude, I'm so excited. Do we need a coin and pump to have a custom theme too? No. Nope. Okay, so they're spawning a little further out, but it's more rectangular. And they are still, I think they're too, are they too small? No, they're good. So I need to change the margins a little bit more. You definitely don't need a coin and pump fund for a custom theme. You can make custom themes. He's going to have prizes, etc., that he wants to do and run it himself. So it's appropriate for that. But once I get you the specs for how to create a theme, you'll be able to use the theme editor and just do that. I'll show you what it looks like because it's working. Actually, I don't know if it worked to add the files in. Yeah, it's gonna figure this out. When I go back to the theme editor, when you create a theme, you're able to add the files, and we added all the files with the editor. But now, if you go to edit it, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. When I click on a theme to edit it, I get this. So before I go any further, I'm going to save the crap out of this thing. Working custom themes and commit this. Yeah, you don't need a coin on Pump Fun. That's very particular, very, very particular to people who want to have a token and run themes there. You don't need one. I'll probably actually already. I may set it up if you want one to use a hopefully tokens on other things or no token at all. You just be running it just regular Web 2, which is absolutely fine. We will add payment rails for Stripe if people want to do an in-app purchase using just regular US dollars. We'll add payment rails for that. The revenue sharing is probably always going to be done with a token. USD pegged. So if you make $2 worth of token, you'll get $2 worth of token. I'll have to figure out how the liquidity is affected for that. Can't believe it's 5:30. I got a lot of sleep. I went to bed at like 4:30, and then I slept to like 10, and then woke up for a little bit, and then slept for a couple more hours. I think I've been streaming for a while. I don't know how long I've been streaming. A while. Okay, let's see if it figured out the problem. The theme editor is trying to ask battlefields on undefined theme object. Let me check. I can see the issue. Trying to ask the battlefield. It may not have the full structure yet. Let me check where the theme is loaded. Whatever. Safe theme. Okay, it didn't completely load the theme. It loaded the screens. That's fine. Okay, so this is the theme. It gives us ID for it, and we can see the JSON for it as well, which comes out of the database, which matches what my API shows me here in terms of what's custom. So that's a real good way for me to just eyeball and be like, yeah, it looks right. Hide JSON. And then it has cover images. So when somebody goes to select this or whatever, or buy it, it'll have a cover image, just like any other store item would. The battlefield maps are here. We can kind of get a look at them. I could add more battlefields right now. This needs some changes. I need to be able to change the name of the battlefield and its description to make it more entertaining, because the battlefield names are based on the battlefield theme, and every battle that comes up should have a funny name, like, you know, whatever. It should come up with a funny name. AI should come up with a funny name for each battle. Then the player assets we uploaded. So yeah, this is how you create a theme, and then the different music pieces. It all gets uploaded to S3. All this stuff, so I can continue to build out the Hood Wars theme based on the assets I already have, and that sucker will just run. So pretty exciting, man. I'm gonna take a break. Been at this for several hours, but we got the custom theme editor running. So massive, massive victory. I will also probably modify or create a new theme that will be the new Soul Wars theme, because right now I have all the files local, which is bad. It makes the package that I have to deploy to the website huge every time, and that's no good. But yeah, theme editor, we get a working theme editor, people. So, all right, I'm going to end this theme and go back to streaming the default stuff. And will it be possible to add flickering neon lights? Yeah, probably. Let's find out. Good question. So that would be a special effect. I know that it supports lighting. Um, so what that would look like would be like a texture that goes on and off to because you need to have a light source come from somewhere. The battlefield itself is a JPEG, so it's not like animated. So this would be like an animated object that shows up on the battlefield that has a sprite sheet and animation, almost like an animated GIF. That's a good question. So I think we can create a lighting object. I don't, but you'd have to create a separate animation using one of the many AI tools. Create a flickering neon light and top-down view or something. So there'll be two different things: a light source and then an animated texture that shows up. And then inside the battlefield, we could do things like animated object, and then where do you want to show it on the battlefield? So we'd bring in these animated object sprite sheets, and then define where to show it. That's complicated. We'd have to be able to animate and then import the animated sprite sheets, which is fine. Phaser does that fine. That's why we can have animated players too. We'll do a lot of stuff, but and then you'll have to be able to say like where on the map it is, and that'll be like trial and error kind of. But it's easier than building a whole scene in 3D. So, and then we'll add a light source to that object, and then on and off intensity and stuff like that, which would be pretty cool. So that's kind of a way to add an animation, more visual effect to that. Which I might want to do that with fires, right? Or like with torches in a battlefield or a dungeon or something like that. Okay, that's cool. So it would tone down the ambient color, make it black, which so that it would pop, and then it would set up the scene for light rendering, so that lights have an effect, and then create a point light, a live point light. So this is cool. So I think here we, in the battlefield editor, we'd have something like for a particular battlefield, there'd be like customizations for it. So in a whole nother area where you can add stuff, spawn locations, light sources, animated sprites. That would be fun. I think I might want to try and one shot that one. For the theme editor, that would be interesting to create a plan to do that with AI, and then just say build it, and do one effect. Because as an example, if you make a custom theme and put the work into it, you could sell it for, add more money to it, and that way you earn more money if you wanted to sell it. That way, everybody who buys it. So there'll be simpler versions, which are just like, simple battlefields and players. Then there you have the ones that are animated players, animated battlefields, all that kind of stuff. But if I can visualize it and think about how to do that, then we can absolutely add it. We just need time. So yeah, it will flicker. It could do all this kind of cool stuff. I can see how I can parameterize this stuff. Yeah, we could do it. One shot, exactly. It is possible. If I can figure out how to get to the end point, then we can do it. All right, I'm going to end the stream for now. I'm going to go eat some stuff and celebrate because I can't believe we got this working today. Kind of, yeah, kind of cool.